right. Well, this was coming off of a story that we talked about last week with Southern Charm star Naomie Olindo. She was sued for fraud and breach of contract over her Alibi fashion brand. Well, she is firing back with a response to her former colleague, Ginny Cox's motion. So her attorney wrote in a court filing stating after being terminated for employee theft and other misconduct, Cox filed this defamatory lawsuit with the intention of extorting money through a set of claims that are knowingly false. Her legal team went on to say that she was always an employee and never a co-owner of the fashion enterprise. Contrary to her initial claims, they alleged that Cox was fired in May after a flurry of incidents of concealed misconceptions, claiming that Cox developed a scheme to generate spending money by stealing companies' merchandise to sell to local consignment shops. Cox, for her part, has not publicly responded to the counterclaims, but as confirmed on October 20th, that Cox had alleged that her former coworker used deceptive tactics to maintain control over Alibi despite a 50-50 ownership. So they're asserting that she did not receive a salary compared to Cox, and that initially she wanted a trial by jury. But based on this response, should Virginia Cox be worried about this?
Yeah, sometimes the best defense is a good offense. And this is something that we expected, Christina, when we talked, that Naomi was going to say Ginny was an employee. And not only did she say that, I mean, she went after her pretty aggressively, stealing clothes, stealing money, drinking on the job. So the question is, were they really business partners like Cox alleges, or was she really an employee? So we're going to have to go through, we're going to have to see, was she on payroll? Did she fill out an I-9, W-2, all the things that you would typically do if you're an employee? Of course, you don't necessarily do that if you're a partner with someone else. So between some of the language that has been said publicly, right? Let's not forget, Naomi famously said that this is my business partner. Of course, now she's saying that this was my marketing director. So we're gonna have to really kind of untangle the financial documents and those transactions to see were they really business partners, or was this an employer-employee relationship?
Got it. So this kind of comes down to, like you said, if she filled out the proper paperwork, then it could really differentiate whether or not she was an employee or co-owner. I mean, based on what you see just right here, I mean, does it seem like Naomi has the upper hand in the situation now?
Potentially, yes. And really, I think the financial documents and really the documents that were filed with the state to create the entity. It doesn't matter whether it's a corporation or an LLC or even a general partnership. Usually before you start a business, you need to get a license, you need to file documents, the city and state. So those documents will say, hey, are they partners? Are they shareholders? Are they members of the same company? And if so, then Cox is going to have the upper hand. But if not, and if those documents show that Naomi is the sole owner, and it's either an entity or even a sole proprietorship, I think she wins this case.
For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.